What's up, guys, and welcome to the FPL WildCats Live. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, we've put on a spectacular New Year show for you, so hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, please hit that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell, and I'll pass over to Nim to do the introductions.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks, Jay. Welcome everyone to our first stream of the new year. Bear with us. We've never done this before. 6 people. I'm not actually sure it's been done in the FPL community before, so that's why we're really late. So we're sorry about that. We had a few things to sort out on the tech, but we'll see how it goes. And if it doesn't go very well, we'll all enjoy having a laugh at Jay's concentration faces. So moving swiftly on, welcome back to Graham at Fancy Football Focus, who's fast becoming a regular here. Hi, Graham. Happy New Year to you.
Hi there. Happy New Year, Nim. Happy New Year, everyone else.
Did you have a good one?
Yeah, well, I stayed in and cried at my FPL points. But that's another story.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I feel bad for you now. I feel bad.
No, you should feel right. I'm here now. It's all happy again. It's all good.
Yeah. Good. We'll look after you. We'll make you feel better about the new year. We will indeed. And a new friendly welcome. A new friendly welcome to Harry, or FPL Tips as we know him. Harry has been playing seriously for 4 seasons, but a total of about 8 seasons, and his best OR is 10k. And he's a fellow YouTuber. Welcome, Harry, to the stream.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me on.
Happy New Year to you.
And to you all.
Okay, so as you know, we always go over our teams from the previous week. So, Harry, would you like to kick us off with telling us how you got on in Gameweek 21, please?
Yeah, happily. So a just above sort of average game week for me, 49 points. Returns from the sort of typical Trent with a 6, Mane, Maddison, Soyuncu, blanks for the rest of them. I had my captaincy on Vardy, but he didn't play, so De Bruyne got the vice captain, and Greenwood came off the bench for a nice 1-pointer. So nothing very exciting for me last game week, sadly.
Oh, this doesn't sound like any of us have had much of a great game week.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, tune in and watch us lot. We're brilliant. So, Graham, how did you get on it in game week 21?
Just above average, so 51 points, 48 was the average. Leicester triple up with Schmeichel 6, Shunku 8, Maddison 11.
Nice.
Disappointing,
Wow,
disappointing Traore, 2 points.
Yes,
Mane
tell me about
doing
it.
what Mane does, nice 8.
Mhm.
Trent Alexander-Arnold now returns 6 points. Calvert-Lewin just the 1, but that was against Man City. Aubameyang 2, Jimenez 2, Captain De Bruyne 2. So another captain miss for me, and 1,800,000 rank.
Oof, dear, oh dear.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why you were crying into New Year's then.
That is the reason why I was crying, yes.
Oh, bless you. Well, let's see if Brett got on any better. Brett is suffering from man flu at the moment. So, everyone give him some love in the chat and give him some hearts in the chat. So, Brett,
Thanks,
please
guys.
tell us that your FPL got on better than how you're feeling right now.
Unfortunately, it didn't. Same as Graham, actually, 51 for me. Now, I actually made a cardinal sin last game week. I actually went out on New Year's Eve and I missed the deadline. For the first
Wow.
long time.
Just when you told me that, I was like, not Brett. Not Brett. Anyone else you can imagine, just not Brett.
I know, that's not like me at all. But and I haven't been out for New Year's for a few years now, but I went out this time out and drunk too much and just overslept, missed the deadline. So, and ironically, my transfers this season haven't gone well, but the moves I was going to make would have slightly paid off. So I was going to
can say that.
I was going to get Johnny Evans and Ismail Assar of Watford. I was going to bring in, but
it's all very well saying that now, but we got to believe you.
But anyway, I played Campbell. He got 10 points. I actually started him, so that was nice. Unfortunately, Captain Vardy, he obviously didn't play, and then De Bruyne was my vice. That was De Bruyne's first blank in 5 game weeks. The one time I actually need him to get points, and he doesn't. Kind of sums up my season. Played ridiculously deep when I actually need him not to. So 51 points, not much to report really. Obviously had the Rico -1, which I actually chose to play Rico actually. But got a -1 for him. And Zaha came off my bench for Vardy for a 5-pointer, which could have been worse. So 51, but a red arrow.
Yeah, still a red arrow, no matter what way you look at it.
As always.
Yeah, well, since we last streamed, I haven't got very far, to be honest, either. It's literally been 2 steps forward and then 2 steps backwards. I got 40 points, like you guys, resulting in a big red arrow. And all of the hard work of the previous 2 game weeks has been undone. I'm right back where I was in game week 18, actually. So I went up in rank over Christmas and then fell back down to 250,000. So that's kind of where I'm lounging about these days. But yeah, it just wasn't great for me. Soyuncu, the only defender to return anything. Like Brett, I captained Vardy, and what Roger said actually, when he said that he was fit and good to go. So I thought, yes, I want that baby celebration. I'm all in on that one. Let's get some captaincy on Jamie Vardy. But no, it didn't happen. And I had KDB as vice captain, like Brett did. So just the 2. Kane's goal ruled offside as he injured himself, which is just typical. Perfect for me. Brilliant. Couldn't have just let me have that 1 goal before he buggered off till April. No, he just decided, you can have nothing for your troubles. But as I said in my video this week, a lot of this is to my own making. I had 2 free transfers. And instead of binning one, I decided that I would try and get ready for the double game week, try and put some money in the bank. So I literally had no money in the bank, so I could have done literally no moves really of any real substance. I couldn't have even really taken my cheaper players to anyone cheaper, as you guys can probably see on the screen. I literally was like maxed out on cheap players. So I decided to do Grealish to Traore. Yes,
Ouch.
which was a massive, massive ouch, as you can imagine. I literally, as soon as I did it, I did remember the deadline, Brett, but I remembered it whilst I was a little worse for wear. In the early hours of the morning, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make my transfers now because it's a new year and I'm feeling really happy about it. And so I was like, I need some cash, you know, Traore's doing really well, he's a bit of a beast, let's do this, Grealish to Traore, what could possibly go wrong? And the second I did it, I had that pang, because like I get these feelings sometimes with transfers when I know it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And I knew straight away. I turned around to the person who, like one of my mates who also plays it, and I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. No, I really shouldn't have done that. I should have just rolled my transfer. And they were like, yeah, because you know, like you always say that. but no, it turned out to be true. I really shouldn't have done it. Yeah, you know, Mane scored, Trent got his clean sheet, but all very underwhelming, really. The problem when you make such a big mess of a transfer like that, as Brett says, it really dents your confidence. And I'm very lost now when it comes to game week 22. It's really making me struggle. Although I did reactively sell Kane to Ings straight away. The second that I like, well, pretty much that night, because he was going up, so I got the 0.1 on him. So I am hoping with everyone else getting on board that I will get that actual, you know, 0.1 in the bank, because yeah, it was really instinctive. And actually now it's kind of messed up my moves a little bit, because it hasn't quite left me enough money to go to Salah in midfield. I'm like 0.3 off, which is really annoying. But yeah, we'll have a little chat when we go to the questions, and I'll probably delve into that a bit more. So Kurt, how did you get on in game week 21?
Similar to Graham, really. I got 53 points, so it's near identical week. Made a few sort of. I wasn't worse for wear. I'm pretty sure I had a pretty 41 points the last week. So I thought, I'm just going to stop playing for, I've got to play this player because everyone's getting him. I'm just going to think, right, if I think that player's going to do well one week, I'll bring him in. So I brought Haller in, thought, you know what, stick the captain's armband on it. New year, new me. Let's just take risk after risk.
New year, new me. That's exactly what you would do every week.
Well, I mean, admittedly, this season I've tried to sort of play a bit sort of sensible down the line, like no risks. But I thought, no, back to my old self. Despite the fact it's been my best start to a season in about 4 years, ended up doing me all right with Haller being captain, because all I've done is captain Vardy and vice captain Rashford, and Rashford got 2 points that week. So didn't really expect that against Arsenal of all teams, but yeah, 53 points. Haller decent captain. I got Soyuncu as well. Mahrez was the other player I brought in for 5 points, so that wasn't a bad choice. Like most other people, Mane and Cantwell. And everyone else pretty much did nothing, but it's not too bad. I'm up on most of my mini leagues, but I'm down on the overall rank. But I'm confident I can bring it back. Cool.
I mean, that's still a decent score given what we've just said.
Yeah,
so you know, you and Graham are doing quite well there.
So it's nothing to sort of worry about yet.
You and Jay will catch me up soon the way you're going. Jay, since I've made you captain of our Wildcats team and not taking it off you, you've been flying. How did you get on in game week 21, my friend?
Well, I would love to come here and say I had a great game week, but I didn't. Unfortunately, I seem to have great game weeks when we're not streaming. And as soon as we decide to stream, that's it. 46 points, it's not that bad. It's just 2 points below the average. I did keep Grealish because I fancied him against Burnley. I was right in doing that, but I am still curious about that first goal being disallowed. Because if that goal had stood, then the fact that the rest of my team did absolutely nothing wouldn't be as painful. But I captained
remember
Vardy
saying
as well.
To you when you said it was ruled offside, I was like, just be grateful you'll have him.
Yes. I'm still grateful to have him. I've always fancied like Grealish as the choice to go with at Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And since I brought him in, it's paid off. So I'm happy with that. Vardy was my captain as well, so same problem as most people. But I vice captain Mane, so at least my
Nice.
captain did get some points on the board,
Yeah.
as did Alexander-Arnold. But then it's very disappointing everywhere else. I played Rico as well by choice. I got the -1. Sidibe was sitting on the bench, which could have got me 3 points instead, which could have made a little bit of difference. But other than that, I was on trail raid before everyone else brought him in, so I'm not too disappointed with 2 points from him because I was there
I've
5
broken him
points
now
before.
for you. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, I might have to move him on now.
Get rid of him.
I need to realise if you say you bring them in, I need to start moving them out.
Just get them out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very.
Where are you at now, Jay?
355,000.
Oh wow! So you really are catching
So
that.
yeah, I've managed to turn it around. So
Yeah.
overall, very positive. Just the new year wasn't the best scores.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well done.
For the main part, I think it was 6-7 games ago, I was around the 2 million mark. So
yeah,
we turned it around.
I'm almost like, this is gonna sound a weird thing to say, but I almost prefer it. Like, so this is something for you, Brett. I almost prefer it when I'm down there because, like, there's this.
Brett's just like, no. No.
I know that sounds terrible, and I'm not making light of it, but like for me, it takes a lot of the pressure off, and then I feel like I play my game more naturally because.
Brett's gonna hurt his neck.
Yes,
He's shaking his head that much.
Here's the difference, Brett. You're not used to being there. That's the difference. You're used to being where I am now, or even higher. And I'm used to being where you are. So for me, it's like the pressure is a lot. It's like, but I've just been stuck here, and yeah.
I mean, I do get what you're saying there because I started to play more like myself when I just went, well, I'm 2 million now.
Yeah.
I might as well just do what I fancy doing. If it goes bad, I'm already at 2 million. So I would say I've actually played better since I've just gone, well, I've had a bad start. Let's just play the game and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay, then, well, we've got some questions here from Twitter, but guys, do make sure you get some questions in the chat for us. At Devon Jedi asks, Liverpool play 5 times in 13 days. Are we all unbalancing our sides for triple Liverpool when rotation is a very distinct possibility? We have seen injuries to Spurs, Newcastle and Villa players. Surely Klopp has taken note. Should our third Liverpool player be Van Dijk or Alisson? So, what do we think? We'll go to the new guys first. Harry, what do you think? Do you think that, there's possible rotation going to happen in that double game week? Should we avoid?
I personally wouldn't avoid. I think that the 3 of them is definitely the way to go. I can see why the Alisson on Van Dijk might be appealing for sort of a bit more solidarity, that you're going to have that name on the team sheet every week. But I just think that the likes of Trent and Robertson for only 500,000 more than Van Dijk, the amount that they'll return is so much more in your investment. I'm personally going with the Trent and Robertson with Mane, so the double defence, because I see the threat of Salah, the rotation on him, much more than I see on Robertson and Trent. So I just think I'll have Mane there for the captain for a lot of those weeks, but the value you get from those 2 in defence, I think, is second to none this season.
Graham, do you feel the same?
Yeah, similar to what Harry said. And then it's just with trebling up, it's the squad depth of Liverpool that's a bit of a concern. It makes you think, if I triple up, who's going to be rotated? But I'd say even then, if you had a Mane, Salah rotated, rested, one of them, you know that when they come back in, they'll make up the points for the rest that they had. So, yeah, you could well triple up on them. I don't see why not. And in regards to the Alisson and VVD, is solidarity, just like Harry said. It's, they're going to get the minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to be going over a few questions more or less around the same sort of thing because it's, it is the question on everybody's lips this game week. But Jay, what do you think? Rotation is kind of the question. Are you worried about it?
Well, look, I would be worried about it if I thought the fixtures weren't in favour of them from game week 24 onwards. But the fact that they've got Wolves, West Ham, Southampton, Norwich, West Ham from game week 24 makes me think if they do miss a game, the fixtures are still good.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure I'm actually going to triple up though.
Okay, interesting.
I feel like, yes, it's putting all your eggs in the Liverpool basket, and Liverpool are the best team in the league at the moment. They're running away with the title unless someone does something about it and Liverpool drops some points. But Salah just isn't impressing me this year. And there was a small resurgence and everyone was thinking about jumping back on. But personally for me, looking at him compared to Mane's chances seem better. Mane seems to be doing more with his chances. And Salah will pop up with a really good goal every now and again. But I just feel like Mane's more consistent. And then with Robertson and Trent, I think I've got the better one right now in Trent. I may go for Robertson, but I look at the rest of my side and go, well, I'm downgrading players that potentially I'm happy with, just off of the fact that they've got a double game week. And I've already got 2 of them. If the fixtures weren't good after that, I probably would definitely not triple up. But because it's Southampton, Norwich and West Ham, game week 25, 26 and 27, even if there is rotation, I wouldn't let that worry you too much.
Brett, how are you thinking on this?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it personally. A bit like what Graham said, really. When, of course, rotation can happen. So when a big player for Man City or Liverpool does get benched, that can always happen. It does sort of solidify them playing the next game. And like that actually makes it more exciting to put the armband on them because you kind of know for sure they're going to play in that one, And Liverpool's fixtures are so good from 24 onwards, from the start of the double game week, that if you're trying to like second guess getting rotated, they've got 6 great fixtures, 7, 8 fixtures. They're only going to get rested in 1 maybe, So as long as you've got a bench to back it up, and, a solid vice captain if you're going to captain them, they can easily get so many points in 5 game weeks, even if they miss the 6th week, at least for now anyway. Like, I'm not too worried. Obviously there's a bit of congestion with the FA Cup, but we've seen Klopp, change his team for the cup competitions quite a bit. There's a lot of players there that want to get minutes, and obviously it's hard for them to get in the team in the league. So he'll want to give these players chances. When the Champions League comes back in February, I think it does, that will worry me a bit more then, because we know Salah and Mane will play in those, and Robertson and Trent as well. But for the next couple of weeks, I'm not too concerned about it. And like I said, if rotation does happen, they'll be back the following week anyway. So I'm not going to worry about it too much.
Yeah. Kurt?
I'm not worried about it, but I'm not tripling up. I'm not going overboard. So I'm happy with my Mane. I still don't think Liverpool defence is anything to shout home about. And for me, there's no easy way to get Trent or Robbo in. Most likely Trent, because he's the one that's seriously in form at the moment and getting everything as well. So, there's not really much for me to add here. But no, I'm happy with my Mane. I'm happy with one.
I'd like to circle back to the unbalanced bit, because I think it depends really on whether you really are unbalancing your team. So for Kurt, he's saying you really can't find a way to get one of them in, but I've just heard this unbalance so much the last few weeks, and to be honest, like, I'm hearing it so much, it's starting to annoy me a bit now. Again, a bit like frustrated with it, because when we've seen like the likes of Cantwell, Lundstram, Tammy, Ings, like Grealish, like the list of so many budget players doing well this season, would we be really saying this like if they were the ones with the double game week? Would we avoid getting them if they were the ones, having a double game week? I don't think we would, just because they're cheaper effectively. So of course it's all relative. If you don't have the cash and the only way to get pool attacker is by selling, say, a big in-form hitter or taking a lot of hits, then, I agree, maybe it's going to affect the balance of your team. But if you can make the move fairly easily, 2 free transfers or a -4, then to me it's kind of like a bit of a no-brainer to kind of triple up, and especially, possibly with attack if you can do it. Like Jay said, they're top of the league, that the players are, top of the points in the FPL, list, and they have great fixtures after the double. So the other great thing about them is that they're so expensive, they can be downgraded to anyone easily. And a transfer can always be reversed. Like, that's the one thing this season I've tried not to put so much pressure on myself with, is if I make a transfer, it's not for life. Everyone's saying, oh, you've banked yourself into a transfer. That's it. If you get Salah, I've got Mane. If you get Salah, that's it. You're almost guaranteed yourself that you're going to have to make another transfer down the line. Well, they have such great fixtures that why have I banked myself into a transfer? Like, if he's doing okay, then I'll keep him. If he's not doing okay, then I'm selling, like I would with any other player that I have in my in my team. So yeah, I'm sorry about that little rant, but like, I just feel like,
you feel better now, then?
Yeah, I do, because it's just like it's
New
getting
year,
a bit,
new nim.
yeah, it's getting a
With
bit
no prisoners.
frustrating. Exactly, it's just like everyone's saying, don't buy Salah. It's going to unbalance your team. Well, in my case, I'm 0.3 off of Salah for Lucas Moura, and to me, he's a massive upgrade. So if I can find that 0.3 somewhere without, really kind of, having to downgrade KDB or something, then, it feels like a no-brainer for me. Rotation is different thought process, obviously. Of course, we that's always a worry, and we don't know what's going to happen. That's the risk versus the reward with the double, isn't it? We're all in the same boat if it happens. But yeah, Van Dijk and Alisson are probably the best bets if you want to be 100% safe. But I'm a kind of, you've got to be in it to win it, and I quite like the idea of having Mane and Salah. So that's kind of where I lie on it. But I mean, if I was trying to win FPL, I'd probably go defense because I feel like that's the more sensible option. But I've never been sensible in my life, so I don't think I'll start being sensible now.
Yeah, obviously it is a big talking point, this whole, like, do we go
Yes.
double defense or double attack? So
Yes.
So Harry, obviously with you going double defense, what is your thinking behind that? Is it just like Nim was saying about it's just easier for you to make that move, or?
Yeah, so a lot of it is the fact that it's much easier for me to get Robertson is the third that I'm buying than it would be to get Salah in, because I have Vardy, I have Maddison, Jimenez, De Bruyne as well, and to sell it would be probably two of them would have to go in order to free up enough to get Salah. And yes, the return on your investment in the double game week for having Salah Mane could be huge, but going back into a single game week after that, it's then a lot of money to have in one team, even though they are top of the league. I just think that double defense, the value at their price is just, they're going to score so well for the amount of money that you spend on them.
Yeah, sure, mate. I think there's no doubt if we could have 4 players per team in this, like everyone would have 4, I think. Just for the run of fixtures they've got.
The issue though is as well, and I think you and Lynn, Brett, had this problem last year, is captaincy. If you fancy the Liverpool fixture, you've then got a headache of which one's captain.
So true.
No, it'll just be on Mane. It'll just be on Mane.
Maybe last year you had the headache. Maybe this year you're like, no, it's on Mane.
Yeah, because I just feel like for me, form-wise, you can't not put it on Mane. So if you've got Mane, then it's there. Do you know what I mean? And then for me, Salah's kind of the add-on, the extra.
You say that, but 1 or 2 game weeks where Salah outscores Mane, and then it comes ahead again.
I had Salah Mane double up at the beginning of the season, and if you actually look at I went on home versus away form. So Salah tends to outperform Mane at home and vice versa away. So I sort of stuck to that rule of Salah when he's at home and Mane away.
And did that work?
Most of the time actually it worked, because I captained Mane when he was away, so it worked 50% of the time.
Hey, 50%'s a good record on your captaincy, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do think that's a really good point, Jay, because even though I'm pretty set on going for the two midfielders,
Oh
One of
God,
the-
I'm going with defence. I changed my mind.
Good call.
Sorry, Brent.
No, it's fine. That is one reason why I do like going for the double defence, because if you do have Salah and Mane, it could be a detriment to yourself, because if you do start yo-yoing between captaincy and you keep getting it wrong, rather than just leaving it on one. For me, I might, if I get both of them, I might captain Salah more because I'm chasing now. He's more of the differential, so I might just try and back him to try and jump up the ranks a bit more. But yeah, I'm just tired of not having Mane.
It's different, I think, if you have Salah and you want Mane, because Mane's the one who's been kind of
he just keeps killing my rank,
Salah.
basically.
But just as you buy him is when Salah start doing well. So I want a bit of that.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, I just kind of feel like, at least if you own them, the hurt on one of them doing well isn't quite as as bad. So
just from the enjoyment factor now, I just think I'll have them both, because otherwise every game week it's just like more of a psychological thing. I just think a bit fed up this season, not doing well. I just get both of them. At least then I haven't got to sit there and think, oh no, is Mane going to punish me again? That kind of thing,
And sure, we might end up on double Liverpool defence a little bit down the line, but in my head, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna have transfers, so
plus
I
wild
just
card
use
in the
them
back
doing
pocket
that.
as well. So
Yeah, exactly. So our Pristavu says, congrats on your ambitious project with 6 managers on the live stream. Yes, we're all here. He's looking forward to it. Sorry, it was a bit later than expected. He's got a few questions for us, but yeah, it is pretty much like sticking with the whole Liverpool defence or offence for game week 24. I think we've pretty much covered that for you, RP. But Jay, if you were going to get another Liverpool, I'm assuming it would be a defender?
I mean, if I'm perfectly honest,
just to round us all up.
I would seriously not be looking past the 4 that we've mainly discussed. There is, of course, the factor of playing time, which is why you maybe go Van Dijk. He does have a goal threat, and Alisson, of course. I mean, maybe, depending on if you heard news later on in the game weeks, maybe game week 23, someone picks up a knock. You do have the likes of Origi and so on, so forth, that you could maybe consider taking a punt on.
Yeah.
But for me, it has to be those 4. And to back up the defence argument, if you look over the last 4 game weeks, I just think Alexander-Arnold has been on fire. Mane has been on fire. And if you're comparing Robertson to Salah, while Salah, of course, will have all the underlying stats of Robertson, actual goal involvements, they've had 1 apiece. Salah's scored and Robertson's had an assist. And then Robertson has the clean sheets. So, for a lot cheaper, Robertson has got 25 points. Salah's got 16 in the last 4 game weeks.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't want to recommend anyone else because I just really worry about their game time outside of those 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal preference, isn't it? Let's be honest. We can all find the stats to argue more or less either way, I would have thought.
Well, then argue with me.
Well, as you said, value for money, stats-wise, on fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, the members area suggests that defence, as you said, or even Bobby, are better than going Salah. So, but for me, I love a punt, as you know, shoot for the stars and fall from the moon and all that. Which is likely why I'll never win this thing.
Never say never.
But I just love the idea of having both Mo and Mane and them both smashing in goals for fun in a double game week. I mean, in my head, it's like this magical.
And then messaging me going, "What about your stats now, Jay?"
Exactly. But it's unlikely in reality, let's be honest, and if it did actually happen, it's unlikely that Mo will be assisting Mane and Mane will be assisting Mo. So, when you think of it that way, you're thinking your likes of Robbo, Trent and Bobby become real options, and as you said, are much here, a single game week player could outscore any one of them. So I think go with your guts and failing that your easiest, cheapest route to a pool player because if you want to, you've got to be in it to win it. But Kurt, just wondering if you were going to get another one, what would you do on the offence and defence situation?
It'd have to be defence, just simply because I don't have Trent Alexander-Arnold. And every time I look at him and he performs, granted, maybe, and I don't know, negative Twitter accounts will point out the fact that, oh, he didn't defend right there, he didn't do this, defending, he didn't do that defending. At the end of the day, the bloke going forward is the closest thing we've had to a David Beckham-like crosser since David Beckham. Now, there's no one that crosses the ball like him. Like, the amount of times you see him put a ball in and you think, goodness me, if a player was on the end of that, that's assist of the season. Yeah. But it's not just like once. It's once every 3 or 4 games. He pulls out one and you think, my goodness me, this bloke is talented. So it'd have to be him for me.
Cool. Brett, do we have any questions in the chat before I finish off our P's? Oh, sorry, dude, I didn't realise you were reading.
Oh, good. No, it's my bad. Yeah, we do. Loads of questions. It's an interesting one here because we're talking about Liverpool and double game week. So I'll quickly run through each of you. Mark Bean wants to know, is anyone using triple captain for the double game week in 24? So I'll start just maybe a quick yes or no, or if you don't know, it's fine. Harry, triple captain?
No, because I just think those 2 fixtures will get a better double to use it in, I think.
Okay, Graham?
Exactly what Harry said, to be honest. There's probably going to be better fixtures in another double.
Okay, Kurt?
No.
Jay,
Someone reassured yes.
me. Jay's run away for this one, so Nim?
Yeah. I've thought about it, but it's likely going to be a no. I think a bit like Harry. I just feel like I'm a bit of a kind of, I've talked about it on this stream before. I like to save up my my Superman mushrooms and just use them all at the end. Jay, would you use your triple captainship in the double game week?
That's a difficult one purely because we don't know what's going to happen later on. But if you want to, the reason I usually would do it is because I know what's happening in Game Week 24, and I'm not 100% sure what's happening in the future when the double game weeks really kick off.
Okay.
But every time I've used it between Game Week 20 and Game Week 30, it's failed.
Oh, so there's a bit of worry.
The last 2 seasons I've done it, I've ended up captaining someone that didn't play in one game and did very badly in the other. So yeah, I'm probably leaning towards saving it and then hopefully using it for a last hurrah later on.
I was going to say, you not feel like just persevering it for that one time when you could go, I finally did it.
I don't want to ruin it for everyone else. If I do it in Game Week 24, then it's just going to ruin everyone's Game Week 24.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Then you rise in OR. You're just doing yourself over.
If I do it and everyone else does it, no one rises.
True.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was expecting a few more yeses, to be honest.
Did everyone else say no?
Everyone said no, yeah, except for me. Okay. I haven't gone yet. For me, I don't think Liverpool have had a double game week before, at least not maybe not for the last few seasons anyway. And we do have the luxury here of 6 days in between the games in this double game week. Granted, there's a game shortly after that they've got to play as well, and quite a lack of rotation most of the time, isn't there? With Mane and Salah, you're quite safe with them normally. So it does seem like a great opportunity. But the one deterrent for me is that the FA Cup fixture is in between the 2 games, which is quite unique that, there's actually a game in between the game week, really, So if you did triple captain a player and maybe didn't perform in the first one, and then you really wouldn't want him to play in the FA Cup, and that would worry me a little bit. There'd be a bit of stress there if they blanked in the first fixture away to Wolves, which is never an easy one. I think Wolves away is the first of the 2 anyway. So yeah, it's a tricky one for sure. So I don't know. I might do it. But
okay, thinking about it still. Okay.
Yeah, that FA Cup game worries me.
RP, going back to RP's question, should we consider Tottenham assets, Ali or Son, now that Kane is out? So Graham. would you consider Tottenham assets?
With Kane being out, definitely. Son coming back from his red card, and I rate this player highly, as I've said before. He's full of energy, great attacking returns. So yeah, why not? Why not?
Harry, I know you said just before we started streaming that you were giving the eyes at Son, maybe thinking about it.
Yeah, so I've got Ali at the moment, and he's on his way out for me this week, I think. And with Son, I'd like him as an option if we know he's going to be playing up front. But there's Spurs with Kane being out for so long. We've seen them being linked to several strikers, so that then might mean that Son's not up there, and then I wouldn't want him. And having captained him for when he got sent off, I'm not sure. It would take me a while to go back there, I think.
Mm-hmm. So when you say Ali's on his way out for you, is that before the next game week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. I've got a couple of options, but he's the one out, I think. Probably Mahrez or Richarlison coming in.
I have Mora, and I'm considering getting rid. I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing, to be honest. I thought he looked by far Spurs' best player in the last match, as I said pre-stream, and it's difficult then to get rid. But Spurs look so streaky to me at the moment, and it's really difficult. Like after having Kane and Mora all these weeks, and them not really kind of making a massive difference to my rank, it's kind of made me go, I'm not really sure I want to stick about on this and wait and see how it does. I kind of almost want to know that they're going to be a team that we can put our money in and just feel confident. So it would take, I think, a couple of weeks for me to feel confident on going back to Son, because I've had him for both of his red cards now. So a bit like Harry, I'm feeling a bit hurt by him. So I'm like, I didn't captain him though, thankfully. But yeah,
the thing is, I've transferred him out twice before.
Yes, you
last
have.
season too. Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Well, I think it's just luck, to be fair.
Yeah. So what about you, Jay? Are you considering getting him back?
I'm considering not going Spurs, to be fair. And I think other people may have said this in the community, but I think sometimes we don't necessarily look at the manager of the club. We look at the assets, the players themselves, because of course it's the players that score us the points.
Yeah.
But when I look at managers in the league right now,
you don't like Jose, do you?
No, I think if people could disagree with me, I don't mind. Just there's something about him as a manager that I don't particularly like, and I don't think the club always goes forward when they hire someone like Mourinho. And there was of course, the new manager bounce where they did really well for a little bit, which seems to happen, and I always miss it because I want to wait and see what happens, and then I miss the initial points. And then I always get drawn in because he's playing really well. Yeah. But
that's going to be us with West Ham in a few weeks.
Exactly. So just like Mourinho, your Solskjaer's, even Lampard, because I wasn't sure if he was tried and tested yet. I avoid it. They do well. I bring the players in. Then it starts to kind of drop off.
That is the summary of my season.
Whereas there's managers in the league like Wilder, who I'm like, I like that side. I'm confident he's a good manager, and that side's on the way up. Wolves with what's his name? I've forgotten his name. But the Wolves manager.
Nuno Espirito Santos. I love that name. Oh
the problem
my
I had
God.
was I was going to try.
I wanted him to become I wanted him to become an Arsenal manager just so I could say his name more often.
But I just think there's assets in teams where I'm more confident in the manager to coach that team and get good performance out of players. But I still always get drawn in when the players start scoring points. So I think I'm getting off of Spurs, and I just don't trust Mourinho.
It's a trap. Kurt, what about you? Because I'm like, if you're not having double pool, where are you thinking? I mean, you've got Haller these days. I mean, what is your next crazy stunt, my friend? Where are we going next? I suppose while everyone's getting off of Spurs, you're getting on.
I have to admit, yes.
knew it. I just knew it.
Annoyingly, yes. I've got Aurier and I'm sticking with him. And I've got Ali. I was a bit shocked when I believe Harry said he's getting rid of Ali. And I'm tempted by Son because I've been so busy.
What, you want to triple up? Oh my word.
Yeah, because I saw Harry Kane out until April the 4th on my phone pop up, and I thought, you know what? Having Dilly Ali behind two sort of floating strikers.
Who's Dilly Ali?
Dilly Ali, sorry. It quite interests me. I'm not going to lie. And De Bruyne, I'm not a big fan of at the moment. I think I've brought him in at the wrong time.
Not a fan of De Bruyne?
I don't know.
I think he's like the 1% that doesn't own him, clearly.
FPL wise, the problem with De Bruyne is that I bring him in when he's doing well, and too many times when I bring him in, after that, when Man City are like, oh, we need a point here, we need to put 3 points here, when they get more attacking with their subs or they get more attacking in the game, De Bruyne, because of how good he is in general, he just gets sucked back into a deeper role. When the team isn't fighting back, he's just literally sit in front of the defence, take the ball forward, ping those passes out to the wide players. And that's where he doesn't get his points. When the game is still live and the team's fighting back is when he sort of gets his way into sort of, the old school sort of Ozil positions where he just sort of drift in between the midfield and defence, and then all of a sudden he can spread those balls through, he can play out wide, he's got all those options. If he drifts out wide himself, there's all that.
Do you not want him for those games when he is a part of the attacking threat?
Well, I never seem to have him when he is part of the attacking threat. Whenever
well,
I bring
then
him
maybe
in,
you should just leave him alone, actually.
So what he's saying is if I transfer him out, all of you are good. Everyone else.
Yeah.
Then also,
I won't captain him then.
Away at Villa.
Could have told me and Brett this last week for our vice captaincy.
Palace as well, Sheffield United. They're all games that potentially teams will just sit back, try and soak up the pressure, and that's De Bruyne's sort of, the stereotypical game where he gets further back and he sits further back. So my only problem is I will get rid of De Bruyne, and all of a sudden he'll have a mega hole, but. Yeah, at the moment it's looking like De Bruyne versus Son, if I can afford it.
Wow.
Annoyingly, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And what rank did you say you were now?
I'm going to be around 3 million, but I'm currently 670,000.
Yeah, selling KDB might be an issue considering.
It's funny because when we streamed last time, we had a conversation about me considering to sell KDB, and that was before the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
And I ended up holding him, and he got 19 points.
I think we all came to a consensus of don't sell a player for Arsenal.
Yes.
I mean, that might change now, hopefully, for Arsenal fans. But we all came to consensus, don't get it.
Yeah, because before the Arsenal game, like De Bruyne obviously had an amazing start to the season. So in the opening 6 game weeks, he had 3 double-digit hauls, all at home.
Yeah.
But then he kind of did go a bit quiet. He got the goal at Newcastle, but his points weren't that great. And I was trying to climb the ranks. So I thought, well, De Bruyne is so heavily owned. Is this a chance to go against the grain? And I was kind of doubting whether he had those big holes in him, going forward. But 19 points against Arsenal. Then he 14 points against Sheffield United as well. So it's a good thing I didn't sell him, to be fair. That was quite fortunate. And on the subject of Son, if I wasn't going Mane and Salah and I was going Robertson and Trent, I'd 100% be interested in Son because, at least in my position now, because he's only 6% owned again. And a bit like at the start of the season when he was injured and no one had him, Son is such an explosive player on his day that there's not many better players to have as a differential than him,
Actually, that ties in quite nicely to RP's last question, which is what is the best differential you can think of for the next 2 game weeks? So, Harry, best differential for the next 2 game weeks?
Well, there's a couple of them, which is why I'm thinking of transferring one of them in. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Mahrez. Very low ownership, 2 good fixtures.
5.1%, I believe.
Yeah. And he seems to be involved in everything they do, attacking returns in both the last 2. It's just whether he's going to start both of those games is the worry.
Yeah.
That because I'm going to go on to a bit in a minute about having like going via another player before we get to a Liverpool player. So I'll go into that a bit more in a minute. But Mahrez is definitely a part of that conversation. So we'll kind of part that for a minute. Graham, your best differential for the next 2 game weeks?
Someone that I've got in my team at the moment, 5.9% owned, Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Brighton and West Ham coming up. So with him being the main man under Ancelotti now, nearly said that like a pizza, he should be a good differential. 5.9%, not too bad.
Love it. Yeah, I think a bit with Harry on the whole Mahrez thing. Obviously, Pep Roulette is an issue. For me, I would say Sarr of Watford, maybe 0.9% owned, so not even 1%. 2 goals, 1 assist in the last 4, only blanking in the game he played 45 minutes in, just like Mahrez did in the last 4. And also Doucouré is also picking up steam a bit as well and is a bit cheaper. So I think we can maybe start to look at some Watford assets now, so they could be good differentials for the next 2. Kurt, any differentials? I mean, most of your team is a differential, so hit us with it.
15 players.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That'll be a differential team. I've got Hela. I think he's one to look out for. I've also got Mahrez, which was mentioned, and I think he's one to look out for. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I agree, is a good one. You've got, I mean, if you are looking at Spurs options, Son is 6% when I looked, and Moura just behind. So those are good options. There was
Are you telling me he's a good option? Are you telling me I should keep him?
I think you've got to consider him. Without Kane, they're going to be playing further forwards, and
the red card has damaged you. He'll be fine.
No, I'm talking about Moura at the minute. I've got Moura in my team,
But the one I'd say is probably the most interesting is, I think, Dale Afeu. I think he's been decent run for the last few games, I think.
Jay had him for so long at the start of the season.
No, I've also said,
nothing
so far, you've all just been naming players on my list. I've got a long list, just in case. And Red jumps in and TikTok, because everyone else mentions them. I'm like, you're going to come to me, I'm going to be like...
What they said.
Yeah, I think he's a decent option. Maybe Jake had a few more words.
No, go to breakfast.
Take off the rest of my list.
Just take off the rest of it.
He's gone. He doesn't want to get involved.
I actually think me and Brett would have probably both said Sarr as well. So that was probably the one that hurt the most. But anyone hurt, to be fair. Because I've also got Deeney there as well. Other than that, I really like Calvert-Lewin. He's one I'm really looking at and considering. Also, with Everton, I'm looking at Sadiba. I've actually got him, but if I was recommending a different Sadiba would be one. And even like Kiko Firmino at West Ham, I've considered him. And then goalkeeper-wise, Fabianski and Foster.
Did you say West Ham? Has he gone to West Ham now?
Oh no, I was saying West Ham is in Fabianski.
Oh.
I was moving on.
Sorry.
West Ham's
I was
Fabianski.
like, did Kinky go to...
No.
Did he go to West Ham when I wasn't looking?
I'm looking to move Pope on, and Foster and Fabianski are on my shortlist for moving on, and they're both low owned, so could make a difference.
Brett, I'm not sure there's anybody left.
I was just making sure. And there's one I like as well, but I'll let Brett talk first.
There's not too many. I was going to say Sarr. That was kind of my choice. Maybe last week. Obviously, if I didn't oversleep, I would have brought him in for Zaha. Good underlying stats too. Lots of shots inside the box, which is always what you want to see, and passing the eye test too. The highlights from the games. He does look quite threatening. This Mahrez thing, like, he's someone that if it wasn't for Twitter in the community, I wouldn't be considering him. I'm kind of fascinated to know what your guys' thoughts are on Mahrez, because everyone on Twitter is talking about him. But it's like earlier in the season, if you remember, he got like 2 double-digit hauls like back to back. De Bruyne got injured. Like loads of people went to Mahrez, and then he like played 59 minutes and then didn't play for like 6 game weeks out of nowhere. Like, so now he's hitting form again, but why are we so sure that he just plays these games now? I don't know. Like, I want you to sell him to me, because they've got good fixtures, like Villa conceding so many shots and stuff. that could be a good opportunity there. Like even Sterling, Mahrez could be great shouts for this week when everyone's focusing on Liverpool, for example.
Okay, well, let me move on to that section then, that I was going to say, because it's less of a question and more of a discussion, as you said, on Twitter at the moment. I wanted to catch all of your thoughts on it tonight. I know Adam Hopcroft has been considering it, and I know also FPL Telling has been considering a few others as well as myself. We're all, as you said, very focused on the double game week, but there are still fixtures before the game week even happens, as you say, good ones for some players. Lots again off of the likes of Ali and Moura and maybe Maddison now if he is injured, although it looks like he might be okay. Should we be finding our means to Liverpool players straight away, do you think? Or as you said, should we really be looking at the likes of Mahrez or, those of us that don't have Maddison if he is okay? Should we be considering these other options like Harry? He's considering some differentials. Should we be considering them for 2 weeks before going all out on Liverpool? So that's kind of what I wanted to touch upon earlier when I was just talking to Harry. But I guess we can include the Mahrez conversation in that because he's definitely been one of the ones that I've been considering. I've got 5 million in the bank, just sat there. And so I could literally afford anyone except for Salah.
So you could go up to Sterling then?
I literally could go to Sterling.
Oh, come on, you got to do that.
I don't know what it is about Sterling this season, but I am just not bowled over by him.
I know, but then you can go to Mane or Salah then straight away, can't you?
Can I? I'd still need to find the 0.3.
I guess so.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that many people are going to jump on Sterling to give me a 0.3 price rise. So.
Yeah, double hat trick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's 6 of us here. We can all push it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe.
That might do it. The way the price rises change this transfers in might work, especially
just
on
all of us tweet out tomorrow.
Yes.
Getting Sterling in.
Yeah.
Look at these fixtures. Look at these stats.
Yeah. Make up stats. Just pretend they're from somewhere important. Yeah. So I guess like Mahrez is the discussion. Harry, you mentioned about getting him, so maybe you could go first to kick off the Mahrez discussion.
Yeah, so I've got Ali is who I'm looking to make way for him, and it would be a sort of 2-week punt before I then bring in Robertson. Mm-hmm. Just as a note, I don't think people should be put off bringing in their triple Liverpool now because they've got Spurs and United in the next 2. I think that's maybe actually not a bad couple of games for them.
Exactly,
to be honest, that this Spurs game of the weekend, they're not keeping clean sheets and nor United, so there are definitely potential both for their defenders and attackers in those games.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feel like I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, enjoy FPL" over the years, and then I've always been thought, well, if you score more points, you're going to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
But then I've never thought, actually, now that I've sat thinking about bringing Mahrez into my team, it seems quite fun. He just seems to be involved in what Man City do a lot of the time. He's had the most shots. He shoots so much, and especially in the box. It's not just wayward shots. So I just think as a 2-week punt, that Crystal Palace and that Villa defence, they're going to create chances. It does just worry me that he doesn't play both.
Yeah, same.
So, but then he has a week's rest in between them. So, and he rested against Port Vale in the cup, which Bernardo Silva didn't get a rest in, and Mahrez came off early against United, and Bernardo Silva again played the full 90, which is kind of pushing me to think that maybe Mahrez in the next 2 will be okay.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because we've got Sané coming back now as well. So how does he squeeze him into that squad, if at all? I mean, we know that they've had a very long lost love on and off, him and Pep. So who knows what will happen to Paul? Maybe it's just like, he's fit. Anyone who wants to buy him, you can have him. Or just tweet him out a lot, and we'll see how he gets on. But Kurt, you own Mahrez, right? Are you worried about rotation?
Not really. I mean, I don't look much at underlying stats. I don't really, because otherwise you spend 5 minutes doing that, you spend 5 hours doing that. But I just like monitoring the game time, and like it's already been mentioned, he doesn't seem to complete many 90 minutes, which is maybe a bit of a negative thing for some, but I see it as a huge positive if his minutes are being managed a bit. But,
I love
being
you
serious, though.
so much, Kurt.
There's a point to that, though.
No. I just love that he
competitions,
turns these around, though. It's good. It is good. I love it.
Because if your player
it's been
scores,
managed in the cup competition,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's pretty much where I stand on it. It could be deemed a bit of a negative thing. Maybe it's Bernardo Silva's getting the match practice in, but I see it quite simply as it's just Mahrez maybe is preferred, which is what I'm trying to tell myself when I get a bit worried about things. But I am confident that Mahrez isn't going to be rested. If he's going to be rested, he might play 60 minutes and off, 60 minutes and off. He won't get ready, benched for one. I don't think, or at least he won't come off the bench, because it'd be a waste of a player that's quite literally in a decent run of form.
Yeah, Graham, your thoughts on this then?
You could roll your subs, analyse it and wait, or there's the worry of the remaining assets. Most people have Liverpool assets already, so to treble up, they're only going to need another one, say the likes of a Robertson. I reckon a bit of a gung-ho, wild, dark horse, Origi. I think he could really turn up. Them sort of players. If you don't get on them early, then obviously there'll be price rises that you're going to miss out on. So you've kind of missed out. You've lost money. So it's quite a tricky one, really. But I think you'd be safer if you need that remaining one player, just get him in before then price rises.
See, for me, that's easier said than done, because I only bought Traore last week.
Join the club.
And so I would, in order to easily get Salah, I'd have to drop Traore down to a Cantwell, say, now and then. But then Cantwell's my fourth midfielder for the next 3 game weeks. Whereas I could go to a City player. I could even leave Mora for a week and save up a transfer. But where's the fun in that? So, or I could go to a City player like a David Silva or a Mahrez, and I could, maybe bank some points, maybe bank some pounds, and then make my way to Salah. So I can I get your point. I do get your point about the price rises. Of course, they will happen. And if myself and Ari are considering going via another player before getting there, we certainly have to bear that in mind. But go on, Harry, you look as if you're going to say something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was a face just telling me there that I need to say something here.
No, I don't know. I just think that Robertson isn't going to return a huge haul that will see his price go up, whereas Salah could score a couple of goals and that would see his price change. So if you're going for Salah, then maybe wanting to get early in case that happens is more of a problem. But for me, wanting Robertson, I just don't see his price going up.
I think I'm in the situation where I have so much money in the bank that if Salah did go up and he really was out of reach, then I could just literally do Robertson. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't mean that in a really braggy kind of way, but it's just like the situation where I really could just do Robertson this week as my second transfer.
She's
done
bragging.
with it.
Yeah.
I am. No, I'm not, because it's a curse. It's not a good thing, honest to God, because it is, because you don't you don't know what to do with it. Honest to God, it's horrible.
You mentioned bringing in Cantwell there, and he looks low on the fixture ease list. It doesn't look great, but from 2 game weeks before game week 24, it's Man United and Bournemouth. Now, could Norwich do something against Man United? It could definitely happen.
Maguire's out.
Yeah, exactly. Man United haven't done amazing every single game week. Sometimes do really badly against teams that they're meant to beat. And Norwich like to play expansive football where there's space behind. Man United like to counter-attack. It would be a matter of who
Does this Pookie injury cause a problem?
They've still got players that score goals without Pookie. They've been scoring goals without Pookie involved. So, and then Bournemouth after that, to be fair, I never know what Bournemouth are going to do, so I wouldn't want to predict that result, because Bournemouth can sometimes turn up and have a very solid defence and keep a clean sheet, and you really think they won't.
Rico will probably get a clean sheet this week now, because we'll bench him and he'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. Rico and Bournemouth are just the type of side that do stuff that you don't expect them to. Then everyone's like, oh, look, Bournemouth are doing well. Everyone gets on Bournemouth and then they don't do anything. But I don't think people are confident in Bournemouth at the moment. And that's Norwich's Gameweek 23 fixture. And Cantwell looks on form at the moment.
Yeah. So are you just trying to persuade me out of Traore so he does well for you?
Yeah.
I thought so.
You're ready. I want everyone's Traore's stats are rubbish. His fixtures look terrible. Get off Traore.
I mean, I feel like I want to do the Traore to Cantwell move. I almost want to do that like next game week. But I kind of want to do the Mora to Salah one this game week, so that's where it's causing the issue.
I mean, Wolves only have Newcastle and Southampton next. I mean, those aren't good fixtures. That being said, though, Wolves do
for Newcastle, haven't you?
Wolves do well against good sides, and then sometimes disappoint against.
That's true.
The sides they're meant to be.
True, actually.
The amount of times I had Doherty last season and was like easy fixture, clean sheet with attacking returns, and I'm disappointed. And then he'd start just because he was doing so well against a big team and he'd get a goal.
Yeah.
The only so I was thinking about strengthening my bench by having Cantwell. It just depends whether he'd be someone that you'd want to start, because if you look ahead to game week 28, where we'll have the blank and you'll need your bench players playing, if Leicester knock Villa out the cup, which you might expect happen, then Norwich will blank and you won't have Cantwell to help you out that game week when you might need all of your players playing.
Yeah, that's true. But I was also considering, because if I did it this week, it would be for a hit. So therefore, I would hopefully be able to roll a transfer or two before 34. And I was actually considering if I had the money left in the bank from that transfer, because I could go to anyone 5.4 or less. I was just thinking Cantwell's obviously doing quite well for his price, and I'd keep a bit of money in the bank. But you could obviously consider going maybe to a Rice or even who else have we got in the West Ham defence that's cheap? I mean, obviously, I'd prefer an Anderson or a Fornals, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I could maybe consider a West Ham mid, for the double, and then. But obviously, I am then banking myself into a transfer afterwards. But I guess it would kind of get me away from worrying about that possible blank if I needed to. Didn't mean to kind of make it all about me there, but yeah. So we're all a bit. What do you think, Jay, on Mahrez? Did we cover you on Mahrez?
Just don't feel like he's done enough for me to take the risk of his game time. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Mahrez is a quality player. And if he was in a side and was starting every game week, he'd probably be especially at his current price, I'd consider. Yeah. But just the fact that I still don't think he's one of Pep's chosen ones where he will start.
And what about David Silva then? Because I have heard a few snivelings around about David being rested, so therefore he'll definitely start.
I was very close to bringing in Silva earlier on in the season. Because it's his last year, I feel like he's being played more because it's his last year. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those that now I've improved my rank, it's almost changing the way I play again, where I want to try and make sure I don't drop too far. Yeah. And there's the worry with anyone outside of a certain few players at Man City that there's a rotation risk. Yeah. Whereas I feel like even though Liverpool, as far as ahead as they are in the league, Klopp likes to play certain players when he needs to win the games. I feel like I can read Klopp more than I can read Pep.
Yeah. I mean...
Or Rodgers.
Or a lot of managers, to be fair. Klopp likes to start. Klopp likes to start his main front three. He likes to. Yeah. He will rotate when it's necessary, but I feel like with Klopp, it doesn't seem like it's just out of nowhere. Whereas with other managers, Pep being the one we all talk about the most, but there are other managers who do it. I just feel like with Pep, I have no idea. Mahrez could suddenly not play 5 games in a row, and I would have no idea why. Like the Sane situation. Sane for me is a player I like, and when he's playing and on form, he's a player I look at and think I need him in my side. Then suddenly something will happen and Sane doesn't play, even though he's not injured. So I prefer to stick with the manager. I feel more confidence in their team selection.
It's like I was like debating getting Maddison back, obviously, before the whole injury thing. But then I looked and he hadn't done anything since game week 16, where he got 2 assists. And I was thinking, I know he's really highly owned, but should I be rushing to get a player that everyone's owned that actually
Who's this name, sorry?
Maddison,
Okay.
that literally hasn't done anything since game week 16 until last game week where he scored a goal. Because
Do you not fall into
that
the
feels
category
like
of, he's bound to do something eventually, though. Like, he's playing so well.
Yeah.
Next game week, honestly, that's the one. And then, okay, the game week after, that's definitely the one.
that's it. Like, I'd be buying him almost just to cover having him. Do you know what I mean? For 2 game weeks, and I'm just not sure that he's the type of player that's gonna haul massively for me. I mean, I could regret not getting him because obviously he does hurt every time he does something because he's so highly owned. But at the same time, it just feels like a kind of move. I take it everyone else owned him though here. No?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Cool.
For me, the thing with Maddison is he will turn up and score, and he's a very important player for Leicester. But consistency-wise, there's just games where he's still an important player in the actual game, but when Leicester are just about to get into the box and are going to have that shot on goal, he isn't there.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it was that game where Leicester scored 9 and Maddison got 1 goal. And I'm like, if he's that important a player as far as their final attacking phase, he should be involved in at least 2 of those at the moment, not 1. I don't feel like I need Maddison. I think he's a great player, and he will hurt me certain game weeks, but I just can't get on the Maddison bandwagon. I'm quite happy with Vardy and then Leicester City defender.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I think just quickly on that, I think Maddison's the type of player that you own for a long period and he'll just tick along well for you.
Sure.
But you have the others, like maybe Mahrez is much more explosive. I mean, I know Maddison scored 11 at the weekend, but he's just the type of player that I think a bit like Jimenez in a way, that you sort of have in your team and you know that will just keep ticking along. Maybe in games you don't expect it, but yeah.
You're selling Mahrez to me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got Maddison either, but he still worries me every week, even though he goes quiet. Like, he's doing exactly what Sigurdsson did last season, where no one really talks about him, not that we don't talk about Maddison, but like, you don't realise how many points he's picking up. And like last season, Sigurdsson was the 5th highest scoring midfielder, I think, behind only Mane, Hazard, Sterling, and Salah. And it's the same for Maddison now. He's the 5th highest midfielder behind De Bruyne, Mane, Salah, and Sterling. You know,
under the radar.
He's and so he's on over 100 points halfway through the season. He's on for a 200-point season. Like, he does annoy me because I don't want to buy him now because I'm chasing, and there just seems no point in me getting Maddison. But because I keep telling myself I can find a better option at about that price, a more explosive option, like Harry said.
Grealish.
Yeah, so I might go Grealish because he's cheaper and he's also close. He's only 9 points behind him, you know. But yeah, for me, I always go for players like Lucas Moura, for example, like someone at that price who I consider more explosive, who can score more goals. But Maddison just keeps ticking over, and it's like, really annoying me now.
Yeah. Okay, at FPL Wales asks, and I think this might be the theme of tonight. This one's a bit more specific to his particular team, but he would like to know if we would do Gomez, Martial, and Rashford to Egan, Salah, and Ings if it cost -4 or even -8 at worst case. Kurt, would you do that?
Would I do who? Sorry, I didn't hear the last name.
So it's Gomez, Martial, and Rashford out, Egan, Salah, and Ings in.
So double United going out. So he's really
Yeah.
lost faith with United.
Yeah. And then
Haven't
obviously
we all,
Sheffield
though?
United
Haven't we
defence.
all?
Salah.
I reckon so. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it does sound as if you've lost complete faith in Man United. I mean, it's a massive risk in that sort of sense because
Before Norwich at home, to get rid of.
Yeah, I've got Rashford, and I'm not
Rashford.
going to do it this week. No.
The problem with that is that I'm thinking I've got Rashford. I'm thinking, you know what, captaincy could be an option. Norwich at home, but then it's also the fact of it's also Norwich have beaten so many bigger teams and put groundbreaking performances in against bigger teams. It's just the question of, are we actually just overlooking Norwich yet again? City went there, got beat. Norwich have also put in a fantastic performances against other teams. Are we maybe thinking, well, they're not too good, so we should be safe? But in reality, they could end up performing once again and beating Man United. I'm not too sure, really. I don't know. So I'd say go with your gut. That's what I normally do, and that's the reason why I'm in so much rubbish in terms of team wise. But I'm keeping Man United, but I think to at least get rid of one Man United would be a safer option, not both. If it's all your team, so if he's got a third Man United player, then A, keep that third Man United player. B, why did you have 3 Man United players? That's the second one. In the first place, but yeah,
I think though, like if he's gonna take a hit to do those transfers, I don't see why he wouldn't just like wait a week, get Watford out of the way, and then obviously do the switcheroo.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because the players he wants, Salah is obviously a decent option, and Ings is a decent option as well. Like they're both great options, but Ings away to Leicester, Salah away to Spurs. Look, anything can happen, but they're not the best fixtures on paper, and so it'd be a bit risky taking a hit to do that. I'm not sure about the Egan call. I think if he wants to sell Gomez and go to Sheffield United, then Gomez is 5.2, so you can afford the likes of Baldock. Granted, it's probably to save money, but
I was going to say probably to invest in Salah. I would have thought.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm just not sure on Egan, really. He doesn't offer any attacking threat whatsoever in that Sheffield United defence. So
he's the one that sits the furthest back.
He does.
The other two centre-backs get forward. Egan's the one that is literally probably one of the few players in the Sheffield United side that's kind of, right, you said that.
Yeah, for sure. So if it's, I don't know if he's got a spare couple of $million, but I really like Dunk for the next 10 game weeks or so, or 7-8 game weeks, because Brighton got really great fixtures. Dunk's 4.8 million, good attacking threat, seems to pop up with assists and goals just annoyingly out of nowhere. He keeps doing it. I keep regret not having him. And obviously Holgate of Everton, a lot of people are talking about him at 4.4 million as a good option as well. Lovely fixtures for Everton too, bit of a new manager bounce. So for the two, there's two options there other than Egan that I would probably go for. If he's really not keen on United against Norwich, which is fair enough, maybe just one of them out this week then. Maybe Rashford to Ings, because Ings just keeps scoring. Maybe just do that one. But
I've done that move, and I kind of regret it actually. I have to admit, like Ings has been so consistent, and every week he scores, I'm like, oh, that man again.
Yeah,
him and Jimenez are just killing me this season. I'm like, so frustrating. You think you got to near to the end of the match and they haven't done anything. You think yes, and then they, and then they score a goal. So yeah, I mean, when I did it, I instantly thought, do you know what? Like, I don't know whether I've done the right thing here against Leicester. Yeah, I
just feel nice that you've got him now, though. You haven't got to worry about him like.
Yeah, but I've probably broken him now, so you don't want.
I hope so. I really hope you have, to be honest.
I really hope so.
Because obviously, I guess Ings, it'll be a double whammy this week, because if we haven't got him, and a lot of us have got Leicester defence, so like if he scores and destroys our clean sheets for Leicester as well, that's just a nightmare.
Oh God,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's an informed player. He's, been pretty much fixture-proof most of the season. So in that respect, I feel comforted, I guess. But genuinely, if I just thought it through a little bit more, I wouldn't have done that move this week. I'm not convinced that he scores against Leicester.
Predicted.
Wolves next after as well.
Yeah, so I don't think I've done the right thing there. Like I really think going Calvert-Lewin might have been the better option in terms of fixtures, but we'll see. I don't know is the honest answer whether I've done the right thing or not, but I've got this little feeling I'm like,
Well,
maybe I should have done something else at least.
I'm waiting for a message from you going, by the way, lads, I've just had a dream about Calvert-Lewin scoring 2.
Yes.
Because I want Calvert-Lewin. And I'm just waiting for you to tell me. Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah. Well, I had to do that Walker did the madness, and he didn't even start in the cup, but he did get an assist in the last game. So, like feeling like, well, although, the whole Pogba Storm thing might just actually be him to go into a new club and not actually coming back and being a brilliant FPL asset. So that was interesting. But yeah, so Harry, would you do the whole Egan, Salah, Ings switch this week?
I think I'm with you on this, that I'd probably wait until after this week, have those 2 United players against Norwich, and then, I mean, if they can't score against Norwich, then they should be out of all our teams probably. If they can't score against Arsenal and Norwich in two consecutive weeks, they scored 2 and 2 in those, then maybe it's time to sell. But yeah, I'd wait a week on it.
Yeah, I think that's like the other reason why I'm not mad keen to go to Salah this week, is that I do feel like if Rashford blanks against Watford, then I may well move him on, which would free up my funds anyway. So it's like, yeah, I feel like, yeah, maybe I'm kind of taking the -4 prematurely almost. Okay, can we have one more question in the chat, Brett, and then we'll go over to Jeffers' corner question. Well, he has
Sure.
another question for us before that, but yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of questions that we kind of covered already. So one is about Son, which we spoke about. One is about David Silva, who we've already talked about as well. Okay, so this is a good one. George S. wants to know Neil Maupay or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This is a bit of a 50-50 that I've seen a bit in the community actually on Twitter. So what do we think? Maupay versus DCL. Is anyone considering these at the moment? And if so, which one have you got, Jay?
Maupay.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Oh, really?
So
why not? Why not then? So kind of help this guy.
So I've been considering it anyway. And Calvert-Lewin is someone I'm considering bringing in for him.
Oh, it's just straight swap.
So literally,
Graham's on board.
I brought him in because Brighton's fixtures looked really good. Brighton do seem to be playing football this season compared to last season. But I just feel like
Jules hear you say that.
I'll take whatever I have to take for it. I feel like last season they did well to survive, but I just feel like this season they're playing better football, and I think that could be a good one. I just feel like that side has a lot of players that contribute to the goals, and it feels like
Graham is on board the Calvert train.
It just feels like there can be games where he
Calvert
won't score.
choo-choo.
And like Trossard, you've got Jack and Bash. I probably said that wrong. You've got players in that Brighton side that can score the goals. Whereas I feel like Calvert-Lewin, new side, new tactics, seems like he's suddenly turned the corner. I think Calvert-Lewin was one of those players that we all looked at and thought he's a good player, but he's just not scoring. But now it
I
seems
had
like
him in
he's
my
scoring.
team last season for a while. Yeah.
I often have looked at him and thought he looks good. When I watch the games, he looks like an important player, but he just wasn't
heavily involved.
He wasn't converting them into goals. Whereas I feel like potentially, and this is me taking a punt, and on a £5.9 million player, it's okay to take a punt on the player.
I think around that price range, you're okay to take.
I'm just thinking if he is turning the corner and I can get on it now, then then that's going to be great for me season long. So I would say yes. I'm fully in the boat saying yes. It's just if that's the move I'm going to make for my whole team, it's a different question. But comparing the two players, I am hands down on the Calvert-Lewin train.
Yeah, I think if I am selling Rashford after Watford, I'm gonna have a right headache because there's Calvert-Lewin I'm considering, Jimenez I'm considering obviously because he just ticks away every week, but also Deulofeu, who we touched upon earlier, looks a real kind of like asset again now as well, and he can really kind of bring in some hauls. So yeah, it's a difficult one, that one. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know Mopé does look good, but yeah, he's quite streaky, and I quite like the fact that Calvert's a bit cheaper and he has good fixtures, so I'd probably go Calvert-Lewin if I had to choose. Kurt, yourself?
Calvert is actually slightly more expensive.
Oh, is he?
0.1 million. 0.1.
Okay.
They're
0.1.
basically level.
Oh, well. Nah, go for Calvert anyway. Kurt?
See, the thing is, Nim has so much money to spend. It's okay. We're thinking about pennies here, and Nim's like, oh, good. The same price.
0.1, what does that matter? Come to me when it's 0.5, darling, and then we'll talk. Sorry, Kurt, which did you go for? Mopé or Calvert?
I'm with you, Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah. Is there anybody who disagrees? That might just be quicker.
Yeah.
Oh,
do,
go on,
actually.
Harry. Go on, Harry.
I don't know. I think Calvert-Lewin's played well the past few games, but I still question how great he is a footballer. we've seen in previous seasons him sort of break into the team and then sort of not make it. And I just worry that we're seeing that again. There was a time maybe last season or 2 seasons ago where he was fighting for a place in the team and he started getting some returns. We started to bring him in. I just think that, for my opinion, I've seen Mopé more from him, that Brighton are going to create the chances that Mopé could score. He almost scored against Chelsea to get the winning goal in that game. And if he'd have got that, then this conversation might be very different. But then I'd pick the Watford strikers over the pair of them, to be honest, at the moment. So.
Okay. Deeney's looking good, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, I just, he reminds me too much of Jay, so.
It's a trap.
That's not been said for ages, Nick. I've not had a comment on that for ages. Why is Troy Deeney's brother doing
it? So, I can't be like having Jay in my team.
Why not?
Because, I don't know. I could do, I guess. You're doing better now.
You put me as captain for ages, and
I have, and that's worked brilliantly. Yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe I'll consider Deeney then. You taught me into triple captain on Deeney in the double game week is happening.
If I do that, it should at least work, surely.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to Jeff's section of our stream. Tonight he actually has a question for us at Austin66UK, if anyone doesn't know what Twitter handle Jeffers is. He says before we go to his corner that he would like our opinions. He's currently ranked at 4,250th in the world. So that's amazing.
Quality, yeah, very good.
And he wants my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say why he wants our opinion. I have no idea. But he says he's unsure of what tactic to take from now. So he says, should he? I hope Brett's okay. You okay, Brett?
Yes, yeah, all good. Sorry.
We're almost there, Brett.
We're almost there, Brett. Hang on, dude. And then you can die.
No, we need it for next week.
Come back stronger next week. Like a phoenix from the ashes. Should he keep playing as he has been with the occasional punt? 2, should he go very template and safe and captain, safe for the next few months? Or 3, go for the top now. Just go for it, go all out, and go bat shizzle, as I would call it. So we'll just I think probably get like 1, 2, and 3 unless you feel like you really want to elaborate. So Graham, what do you reckon good old Jeffers should do? 1, 2, or 3?
The truth is, can't get any worse than 4 million, can you? Unfortunately.
Bless you.
But I would say trying to recover that position. J&O is probably best to answer this question at this moment in time because he had
Wow.
that leap.
Wow, jeez. Put the pressure on.
So over to you, J&O.
He's taken my spot now. What can I say?
The thing is, the way I've always played the game is if I am doing well in the game and I have the possibility of getting into those really high ranks, like the top 1,000, the top 100s, anywhere near that, I start to play attack, and I would look for differentials because those are the ones that are going to be the players that can make it for you to get into those higher ranks, but then really focus on your captaincy picks. I think if you nail the captaincy picks and then you get 1 or 2 differentials right, then that could be a big difference. That being said, every time I've got anywhere near that kind of area, I usually stagnate and stay in that area and then just miss the top 10k.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me twice. As I'm sure people that have followed me for a while know, because I've moaned about it
religiously.
Literally, I just want that top 10k once. I've missed it by 83.
The amount of times he's sat there going, God, I was so close.
So I wouldn't say I'm the best for your situation. Yes, I've had a good rising rank right now, but I don't have a good track record of when I'm near those really high ranks of then converting it into even higher rank. But that's how I would approach it, if I was.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it's like I talked to a fair few who have good ranks, and like I think it's just easy to say to you that you just have to keep doing what you're doing, and to be honest, you're absolutely smashing it. Like, just go with what feels right. If you do feel like you need to defend it a captain 1 week, then defend it. If your gut says go for it, go for it. I think it's just the biggest thing is trusting yourself. I mean, you've done well for a reason so far. So I think, like, I don't think you need a strategy as such. Just take it like game week to game week and do you, basically, because it's obviously been working. But maybe Kurt will have a different approach.
Just go for it. Go bat shizzle.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. Is that what Harry thinks as well?
Triple Captain Haller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just sell your whole team. Don't go with any double game week players.
Exactly.
Captain Harry Kane and Vice Captain Haller. There you go.
Guaranteed points from you, Vice.
Yeah. Harry, feeling the same?
No, just I mean, if you're at 4K, I mean, I'd stick with what you're going with. If you're at 4K and you could come on next week and tell all of us how to better run our teams, that'd be really great. But no, just stick with it. I think.
Yeah. And Brett.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. I mean, I definitely not number 2. Definitely not the second option because the problem is, like, what's happened, because we've got this great community and, you know, everyone's trying to get respectable ranks every year, aren't they? And we have glorified
No, I'm not.
top 10K. Like, even for me, I've never got top 10K, and like, it's a rank that you we have glorified it, like, and you get to a point where, and this time last season I was at 4K, and part of me was like, I panicked a bit. I was like, oh my God, I'd love to finish here. I want to save this, you know, I'll just get top 10K, which actually it takes away from, at the start of the season, you should be playing to win. Like, you should be playing to win the game, you know, and if it wasn't for this community that we all have to get top 10K finishes.
Sorry, I tried to keep a straight face for a while, but playing to win, what's that?
No, play to finish first.
No. I know you're very serious, so I get it.
Is that like a euphemism or something?
No.
Like playing to win the game. Like, of course,
Yeah,
that's why we're playing it, right?
No, I know. That's why
It's
we
joking
should
at the
play
fact
it.
that normally
but-
we're all pants.
I think like you've got.
I'm with
Right.
Brett. I play to win, and then when it goes bad, then I
Well.
play to do something like get a better rank.
It's like the cup, innit? It's
But
like everyone like
I
goes,
always
I
start the
got through in the
season-
cup, and then when you go out, you're like, I wanted to focus on the league anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I just think that when in game week 1, we're like, oh, if I finish top 10k, it'll be great this season.
Yeah.
And yes, it would. But what in any other competition do you want? Like, you want to finish first, otherwise, why are you not playing? You know, do you know what I'm trying to say? So, if I was in his position now, I know it's hard because psychologically you want to get this very respectable rank, and you don't want to take too many risks to blow it and drop to. Because when I was at 4k this time last season, I dropped to 90k in a couple of weeks. You know, I didn't jump on the United option, so it can change quickly. But yeah, I mean, he's in a great spot. Just keep doing what you're doing. Definitely don't try and consolidate, because it's just, you've got a chance there, you know. And if it means taking a couple of little risks, if there's a trend where everyone's captaining a player and you spot a chance to jump up the ranks by captaining someone else, maybe take that chance, you know, rather than playing it too safe. I know it's hard to do that because you're scared to drop down the ranks. But you know, you've got at 4k, you've got a chance to win, in my opinion, because you're probably only 100 points off the number one. There's still a chance, you know.
Yeah, no,
but just keep doing what you're doing, because Jeff has private messaged me once this season asking for some advice on his team, and I didn't reply to him because I'm sat at like 2 million. He's at like top 10k, and I'm like, I didn't want to tell him what to do.
He's
You don't wanna
avoiding you,
influence
Jeff.
someone.
He's
I didn't
avoiding
want
you,
to.
Jeff.
No, you don't want to influence someone that's doing better than you, because they're making
And
the
I
right
felt
calls.
bad. I felt bad not to reply to him, but I thought, mate, you're doing so well. Like, I don't want to plant any seed that might go wrong. So just keep doing what you're doing, mate. And yeah, you're doing really well.
Cool. Oh, wow, I feel like Brett had a proper rant there.
Yeah, just don't consolidate, because we glorify these respectable. Just go for it, mate.
The thing
I
is,
can
if you
see
don't go
what-
for it, you might lose that rank.
Yeah.
Like Brett was saying,
Yeah, I see that. I
you play
understand
it too
that.
safe, and then you lose it because you're not getting on the trends that other people are getting on, and then you start to drop in rank because you're trying to play it safe, and other people are taking the risks, and they go past.
If we weren't all following each other, if there was no community, we wouldn't be trying to finish in the top 50k and to show people, oh look, I've got another top 50k finish. If you didn't talk to anyone about it, you'd only be playing to win, wouldn't you? Because you wouldn't be showing your rank to anyone else. So you want to build up this career history of top 20k finishes. Fair enough, I do too. Of course I want to finish in the top 20k again and say, look, I've got another great finish here. Look at my track record. You know, but if you haven't got, if there was no community, you'd only be playing to win the game.
I
Do you know what
kind
I'm
of
trying to say?
understand you, but there's
No, he's got a point.
you've got a good point. I think also though that it's a one in how many of us playing now million chance of winning.
Really?
Yeah,
Than the lottery.
exactly. So well, yeah, but I just think like it's the sort of situation where I think if you have a high rank, then there is some appraisal to that. Do you know what I mean? Like I can see why it's become slightly glorified, because there's only going to be one winner every year in 38 game weeks. You know, there has to be a kind of a buffer for that of what else is good. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, yeah, like you said, I mean, it kind of feels pointless almost, because I think like, of course I play to win, but I have so much fun with the game along the way that, as I've said several times in this stream alone, I don't think I'll ever win it, because I just always just go with what I feel is going to be most fun, rather than like almost like always kind of doing what's right, you know, like possibly going Liverpool defence for the double game week. I mean, everybody of anyone I respect has said go defence, you've got the money straight away, it's not going to cost you any minus points, just do it, you know, you'll be better off with it. But that's not how I play the game, you know, I play to have fun with it as well. So yeah, I know it's not really what Jeff is asking, but yeah, I just think that it is, I think you have to have like a buffer for, you know, a good rank.
You do, but it depends on where you are.
Would be a bit
It depends
like,
on where you are, though, because obviously I would kill to have a 20k rank at the end of the season now because I'm at 2 million. But
yeah,
at 4k, my
You're
target
into
wouldn't
10.
just be, oh, I'm just going to consolidate and just try and get
Yeah.
to 20k.
Oh
It's
no, I
like,
completely
it's
agree.
like a great
that.
opportunity there. So just don't
Yes.
kind of buckle and like play it really safe just to like edge into a 20k finish, you know. it's easier said than done because, of course, I would psychologically want to just get a top 10k finish and try and hold it. But there's a legitimate chance there to really get a top.
But I don't think he has to go batshit or crazy. Like I don't think he has to. I think he just has to continue being himself. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Oh, that struck a debate, didn't it? That was fun.
The joys of FPL.
Yes. Jeff's corner question is: Andy Warhol once said, "We would all have 15 minutes of fame in life. In what scenario would you like your 15 minutes to occur?" So I'll start along the bottom line and work along the top. So Kurt, I'll come to you first. Your 15 minutes of fame, my dear. Why do I feel it might involve a mankini?
I've not always got
Mankini and triple West Ham.
It pays off.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at the question this week. Normally I like to plan, but I've had a boo-boo and I've not really looked at it. I would like, I'd give the honest answer, and probably Brett's gonna be going, damn it, but hopefully like a quick 15 minutes on an interview saying, "Oh, you're the FPL winner this year. How does it feel?" Something like that. I'll stick with that.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. That would be
in a mankini.
I'd love that.
In a mankini, yeah.
After triple captain West Ham.
Gameweek 38.
For the win. For the win. What about you, Harry? I think you might have checked out a little while ago. You're looking a bit tired, dear. But
No, I'm not. I'm still going. So at Chelsea, I mean, they have sort of halftime guests on. I mean, they do all tend to be ex-players, but 15 minutes, lap of the pitch in front of everyone would be pretty great.
Yeah, sounds pretty awesome. Brett, yourself?
Yeah, like Kurt said, I think an obvious one, because we're on like an FPL show, like to win FPL or even to get like the game week rank 1, like that would be kind of like a 15-minute sort of thing, like just to get one game week where you won the game week or the month, or if you were ranked first just for one game week or something. Alternatively, before FPL, I was obsessed with Halo. And I used to play in all these tournaments around the UK and Europe and stuff. If I was like the world champion at Halo, that would have been my dream as a kid, to be the champion of Halo. So that'd be a great 15 minutes of fame for sure.
Cool. Graham?
I don't think you can link it to fame really, but I'd love an FPL mug just to win one in a game week, like just to say.
Oh, we know what we can get Graham for his birthday then. We can all chip together and get him a mug.
A fake FPL mug. Cheers.
Oh, bless you.
I don't know really. I honestly don't know. 15 minutes of fame. I don't know. I've had it tonight, haven't I? On the WildCats. There we go. Hey.
Oh, bless you. Well, I think it is a difficult one, to be fair. If it couldn't be something charity related or helping people, because let's face it, it doesn't really get many people famous, I suppose. Then, like you guys, I'd love it to be football related. Yeah. Presenting maybe an interview with Aguero where I fall in love. I mean, that'd just take 15 minutes.
No surprise there.
It's happened already.
It'd be pretty awesome. I'll see what I can do in 15 minutes. It might just be me falling in love. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. What about you, Jay?
Well, I was going to say something charitable or helping people.
We're on the same way.
I wouldn't mind winning the lottery. Because you'll be in the paper for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but then everyone wants all your money.
I didn't stay in the country.
Troy Deeney wins the lottery.
Exactly. It wouldn't even be my fame. That's awesome. They'd be all going to Troy Deeney, and I could just jet off somewhere with all my money.
Brilliant. Cool. Do we have any polls tonight? Or
we did, and then I had to redo it.
Yeah. Okay, because we did have a bit of issue. Okay, no worries. Okay, then, guys, I will pass it over to Jay to wrap it up. But thanks from me to our guests for joining us. And Jay, I'll let you wrap up the show.
Okay, so yes, like Liv said, thank you to everyone for joining us. Thanks for the tips and focus. Thank you for joining us as well. If you have enjoyed the stream, again, do please check out all the links in the description and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you know when we are going live. And Happy New Year!
Happy
I'll
New Year.
catch you all later.